Hey, it's Evie, welcome to my channel. Today's video is another requested video, and I do put a lot of these videos out there, and I just do try and add more information in for you every single time, and do excuse the rain. Okay, can't get your ex back. You've tried and tried and tried every trick in the book and you can't do it, and you are frustrated, and you might think that you're not attached, and you sit there and you think, well, I'm not attached, but you're not being, I'm not saying you're not being honest with yourself, but you're not really perhaps understanding what attachment is and what attachment feels like, because you can be going about your business, getting on with your day, and not really thinking about that person all that much. That doesn't mean that you're not attached. So how do you decide whether actually you are attached? You think to yourself, how do I feel about this? Am I kind of, you don't have to be knotted up about it or anything like that. You just ask yourself the question, am I still attached? You should feel, an intuitive feeling will tell you, yes, you are still attached. Because if you've gone 6 months down the line and you've been trying to manifest and nothing has happened, then you are definitely attached. So why, if I've always said that time should not be a factor, should it be a factor, that I say, you know, if you've gone 6 months, then something is awry here? Because although time isn't a factor, if you have no attachment, it really can happen pretty quickly. And I know, you know, from experience, and that you guys that I've spoken to, 6 months down the line means there is a fair bit of attachment there still. You know, you haven't really released all that much, especially if you've gone a year down the line, 2 years down. I mean, you can go on and on and on. And I would suggest that what's happened is you've probably had bits of contact. So what's happened is they've come back to you, they've texted you, they've called you, you've had a little bit of conversation, and then it's stopped. They've gone again. Now, so the thing is, when this happens, they come back, you're like, yay, and you're really excited that they've come back, and you think you've manifested it, and you have. But then you start to doubt, because maybe you've texted them and a day goes by and they haven't responded, and you think they haven't responded. So you start doubting, you start thinking they're not going to respond, and so you get that feeling, and it's not a feeling of doubt, it's an actual, so the feeling of doubt doesn't matter, you can doubt, but what you're getting then is the vibration of them not contacting you. When you're having that worry, they're not going to contact me, they're not going to contact me, you're actually vibrating that they're not going to contact you. And when you start vibrating something, that's what you get. So you've got this uncertainty going on within you, inside of you, which is manifesting outside. So the physical world is manifested back to whatever's going on inside of you. So if you've got that going on, you've got that doubt whether they'll come back to you, then they're not going to. They're not going to for a while anyway. You're going to have that stop-start stuff going on, which is really annoying, and then you get more frustrated by it. And then what happens is you know that everybody's you pushed out, so you get frustrated with yourself because you think it's all your fault. You know it's all your fault, and it kind of is. I want to say it's all your fault, but then you suppress your emotions. So what you decide to do is blame yourself, because you know it's what's going on inside of you that's making this happen. The danger with blaming yourself is you get frustrated at yourself and you cause more resistance. So I'm going to say something now which I know some of you don't like, and when I've actually said this to people via email, they've actually argued with me about it, and that's fine. I don't mind that. I don't want a bit of discussion telling you why I'm saying this. I would like you to have a human reaction, because that is what makes us feel better. We need to have those human reactions sometimes, and if we try to go with the law of attraction, everybody is me pushed out, so it's all my fault, and I'm going to take all of the blame, and I'm just going to sit here and suffer, blaming myself and working out a better way to manifest them because I'm doing it all wrong, we don't get those feelings out there and we don't deal with them. So it's far better to get those feelings out there, those feelings of that angst and annoyance at them for ghosting you, that's the word you use, isn't it? Not talking to you, ignoring you. Get those feelings out there and call them all of the names under the sun if you want to in your head, if it makes you feel better. I mean, but what I'm saying here is do that, but then don't go on doing that. So we do it, we get those emotions out there, those feelings out there, and then we say, okay, we've had that release now we'll deal with it, and then you go back to the everybody's you pushed out, and you know that it has come from you, but it's okay to have a human reaction, because I do know from experience that if you try to suppress your feelings, then it will just all add to your resistance and all add to your attachment. And we don't want that, do we? We want to get rid of this attachment. So don't feel bad about having a human reaction. In fact, allow yourself a human reaction. Just don't allow it to go on and on and on, because you know what we're like as humans. We do then get stuck in that cycle and keep being mad and keep being mad. That won't help either. So I say, get those feelings out of the way, deal with them. They've ignored you, you're pissed off about that, and you know, be annoyed with them. Allow yourself that period of time to be cross and give and sort of transfer. I don't want to call it a blame thing, it's nobody's fault really, but just let yourself off the hook, okay? Because we're human beings, and yes, this does appear to be the way that we've been designed, but we've got this flaw going on, haven't we? We've got this contradiction going on, because we're human beings and everybody is us pushed out. So, you know, I fully go with allowing yourself human reaction. It works for me. I never, I don't want to get frustrated at myself, and I have done in the past, and I found that actually allowing myself to be cross with somebody else really made me feel better. And I've never been one to dwell on things like that anyway, so it made me feel better, and then I just let it go, because I am a human being at the end of the day. I'm not, well, you would probably say that I am a spiritual being, but really I'm not spiritual. I love science and all that stuff. I love the fact that this is something to do with quantum and all of that. Don't know what, but you know, I love that idea. So I'm not a spiritual person, so I prefer to deal with things on a more human level, knowing that there's magic out there and I can make stuff happen. I can make weird, crazy, wonderful stuff happen, but I can also deal with things as a human being and not suppress those feelings because I'm trying to do this with magic. You can do it with magic and have a human emotion. That's the good thing about it. That's the great thing about this. It's whatever works for you. And if it works for you to get those feelings out there, deal with them, move on, and then get back on the wagon, as it were, then do that. And don't feel bad about that. I think this is the problem. We get stuck in this feeling bad. We shouldn't be doing that. We're supposed to be positive all of the time. And that's another thing I'd like to say. You do not have to be positive all of the time to bring a specific person back into your life or to bring anything into your life. And all of this, and I do go with positive thinking, and I think I'm a very positive person anyway, especially more so naturally as I've been into this. But you don't have to be positive all of the time, happy all of the time to bring things into your life, because we're bringing things into our life all of the time. And even when we're miserable, we might bring something good in. Something good can happen to you when you're feeling miserable. So, you know, that's not something that I go by. Yes, it's great to feel positive. And if you can feel positive all of the time, brilliant. And it's great to be happy. If you're happy all the time, brilliant. But don't beat yourself up for not feeling like that, because yes, this is magic. Yes, this is wonderful, but we don't understand it fully, and we can only give little explanations along the way, what we think is going on, but we don't know. Always remind yourself that we don't know exactly what's going on here, so you can react to things in whichever way works for you. So I would suggest that your attachment is probably worse if you've been suppressing emotions. So I would definitely get those out there. Spend a whole day getting them out there. Really, if you want to cry, scream, shout, whatever, do that. I mean, I wouldn't suggest that you then start sending them a string of texts telling them what you think of them. I wouldn't do anything like that, because it won't make you feel better. That really won't make you feel better at the end of the day, because you will regret it. But I do suggest that you just deal with this. So in your head, don't be having a go at them in your head. You don't want to do that, because then that could manifest. So you don't want to be actually having a conversation with them in your head. You just want to feel those emotions. If you feel mad, feel mad. Really, don't suppress it. Let yourself feel mad. If you feel upset, let yourself be upset and let yourself cry and all of that stuff, but don't associate that with some sort of conversation that you're having with them in your head. You don't want to do that. You don't get any vibration of that, but you can get the vibration of mad. You can get the vibration of sad and all of that. It will only last for that amount of time that you're feeling it, and then you can deal with it, and then you'll find it much easier to start releasing that attachment naturally if you deal with feelings. If you don't deal with your feelings, they're still there. They really are. They're still. I'm not suggesting that you try and push anything out, but if you feel that those feelings deep down, if you are cross deep down and you're trying to say, I'm not cross because it's all my fault. Everybody's me pushed out. It's all my fault. I take all the blame, and of course I'm not cross. But you know that really you are cross. Because you probably are, you know, like I said, we're human beings. You probably will be a little bit cross if somebody's ignored you. Well, bring that cross to the surface and deal with that cross. Not for a long time. Be angry for you know, an hour, 2 hours, the whole day if you need to. Just don't let it last, but certainly deal with it. Dealing with your feelings really, really helps. It really does. And I think with this stuff, we can get caught in that can't be this and can't be that because, you know, I'm following the law of attraction now and I have to live my life that way. No, you don't. You don't. You have to find a way that works for you. And I don't think that suppressing emotions works for anybody in any case. I don't, however, believe in talking about stuff over and over and over again in order to make things better, because I do feel that we need to move on after a point. So that's why I say deal with those emotions. Done. You see, the thing is, you might find that your attachment is a lot to do with your suppression of your feelings, and you may really feel a really decent release after you've dealt with them. So, you know, you may not like this idea, but what harm can it do? It's really not going to set you back. It's not. Just see how you feel when you get those feelings out there and see if it really does help release some resistance. So, if you are struggling to manifest your ex back, it will be because you're attached. Whether you sort of outwardly feel attached or not, you will be able to feel it. If you kind of ask yourself the question, you will get an honest answer from your subconscious and your intuition. It will tell you. Right, I hope that was useful. If you've signed up to my members area, then amazing. It's changed, as you all know, slightly. The format of it has changed due to feedback, and I think I've made it much more practical now and more useful to you guys. And £5 a month, cancel whenever you like if you have it. If you want to pop along to my coaching page, just have a listen to my explainer video there, see if you fancy it, because I no longer do one-to-one coaching, like full-on one-to-one coaching with Skype and all that anymore. But this is you still get one-to-one, but you go and listen about it and see what you think. My latest book, Back With Your Ex, is out now, still selling well, and also I have a new book out, hopefully Friday, Degrees of Attachment, all about this stuff. Ton of stuff about attachment and how you can release attachment, let go, feel better, feel happy, less anxious, all of that stuff, all in one book. It's due to popular demand, that's what people ask me for, so that's what I've written. So yeah, hopefully out on Friday.